Hi boys and girls, welcome to math. So remember this week we are adding and subtracting mixed numbers, which we know a mixed number is going to have a whole number and a fraction, right? So we have wholes and parts, and we're doing some addition and some subtraction, okay? So today we're going to be looking at page 445 of our Math RCC book. So take a minute and open that up, and I'm going to jump in. So on page 445, we have a problem that says, markers come in boxes of 8. For an art project, one group of students uses 1 and 5/8 boxes of markers. Another group uses 1 and 6/8 boxes of markers. How many boxes of markers do the two groups use all together? So this is a word problem, so I'm thinking about how I should be thinking what I'm solving for. And I know one group has this, one group has this, and I'm figuring what we have all together. So I'm going to need to add, okay? So we could draw a picture here, or we could jump on a number line, but we're just going to do it the mathematical way, using numbers, okay? So we start with 1 and 5/8, and we're adding 1 and 6/8, okay? First, we're going to add the whole numbers, 1 plus 1. I know that's a tough problem, guys. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, we're going to add the parts, okay? So we have 5/8 plus 6/8. I know this is okay to add because I have like denominators here, so I'm going to add my numerators. 5 plus 6. So I know 5 plus 5 is 10, so 5 plus 6 is 11. So I have 11/8. Okay, what do I do with my whole and my part? I'm going to smack them together. This equals 2 and 11/8 of what? Boxes. Okay. On the next page, page 446, it's going to show you some other ways to do this here, okay? It's the same problem. It's just showing you some different strategies. So in this one, they're showing you 1 and 5/8 boxes of markers. This is 1 and 6/8 boxes of markers. They showed you red and blue so you can tell the difference. These are your two holes, right? One hole, one hole. Then they combine the parts, okay? So you end up with a total of 8 here and 3 here, and 8 plus 3 is 11. So that's where you're gonna get the 11/8 from, okay? It also wants you to see that even though we got 2 and 11/8, as you can tell here, when you draw a picture, you can see that you have 3 holes. This is because this is an improper fraction, this part. It has a larger numerator than its denominator. So you can actually take another whole out of that fraction, which gives you 3 holes. And then how many remaining parts do you have? 3 more out of 8, okay? Here it's showing you jumping on a number line. You're starting from 1 and 5/8, and you're jumping up 1 plus 6/8, okay? It says, remember that one whole box of markers is 8 out of 8. So it's important to remember, when a fraction has the same numerator and denominator, that means it's one whole. So 8/8 is one whole. 7/7 is one whole. 142/142 is one whole. Okay? It's important. All right, moving on to page 447. So we're still working with these same fractions. It says, what is the sum of just the whole number parts of 1 and 5/8, and 1 and 6/8? So as we did on the first page, we're going to add 1 plus 1, which is 2. Now it's going to ask us, what is the sum of just the fractional parts? So when it says fractional, it just means the fractions, guys. So we have 5/8 and 6/8, which we already learned is 11/8. Okay? It says, think about how many holes are in 11/8 and how many extra 8s there are, and complete the equations below. So now it's going to decompose 11/8. This is kind of what I was touching on. So 11/8 is improper. That means the numerator is greater than the denominator, right? So that means this is greater than 1 whole. You can take wholes out of it. So if I start with 1 whole and I have 8 over 8, what would I add to that that's going to be remaining? So I have 8 and I need to get to 11. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to have 3/8 here. Okay? Now, 8 over 8 is 1 whole, right? So we have 8 over 8, which is 1, plus what's remaining? 3/8. So that means when we break this all down, we have the 2 wholes from up here. We decompose this fraction into 1 and 3/8. So it has here the 2 from the top, 1 plus the 3/8. Now how many wholes do we have? 3. How many parts are remaining? 3/8. Okay? We're talking about adding mixed numbers right now, so I'm going to have you skip number 5. Ooh. Okie dokie. Page 448. So, Mrs. Suarez sells pies at the fair. She sells 3 3/5 pies the first day and 1 3/6 pies the second day. Sorry, I missaid that. It's 3 5/6 and 1 3/6. How many pies does she sell in all? What is this asking us? How many pies in total, guys? So we need to add, right? So we're adding 3 5/6 plus 1 3/6. Okay? So it wants to show 2 different ways. So let's first solve it out mathematically. Okay? Let's do that up here. So we're going to add our wholes, So we have 3 and 1. So we're going to do 3 plus 1 equals 4. And now we're going to add our parts. 5/6 plus 3/6. So I have like denominator, so I can add 5 plus 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, 8 over 6. What am I going to do with these 2 numbers? I have my wholes, I have my parts. I'm going to smack them together. 4 and 8/6. Okay? So now I need to show a different way to add this number. So my different way, I'm going to do some pictures. Okay? So first I'm going to draw my holes. How many holes am I going to have? 3 plus 1 is 4. So we have 4 holes. I'm going to do squares. Okay? So I'm going to have these 4. Now I need to add my parts. So I need to draw these 2 parts. So one is going to have 5/6 and one is going to have 3/6. So I need to split these into 6. This is my 6th, okay? So one has 5/6 and the other one has 3/6. Okay, so now when I look here and I add my holes and parts, let's see. So I have 4 holes. How many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 6. Okay? Also, instead of putting this one here, what if I put this part here? Now what do you notice? I notice that I made another hole. Okay? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes and 2 parts. Okay? These represent the same thing. Here I have an improper fraction in this part. That's why I can simplify it further. I just simplified. Okay? Number 9. Beth goes on vacation for 4.5 days in June and 8.5 days in July. How many days is Beth on vacation in June and July all together? So, all together means I'm adding. I'm looking for the sum, right? So I'm going to have 4.5. And I'm going to have 8.5. So, I'm going to need to first add the wholes. So I have 4 plus 8. 4 plus 8 is 12. Then I'm going to add the halves. 1/2 plus 1/2. So I can just add the numerators here. I'm going to have 2 over 2. That seems a little funny because I know 2 over 2 is the same thing as 1. And when I have a mixed number like this, I can break it up, decompose it like that. So this is like 12 plus 2 over 2. So if this is the same thing as 1, this whole thing is equal to 13, right? Because I'm going to have 12 plus 1. 13, what is it? 13 days. Okay? All right. Next, I'm moving on to page 449. So I have Marissa. She uses 3 1/3 cup of oats to make oatmeal and 2 1/3 cup of oats to make snack bars. How many cups of oats does Marissa use in all? So it says add the whole numbers. So we got 3 1/3 and 2 1/3. When I add 3 plus 2, I get 5. Add the fractions. I have 1/3 plus 1/3, which is going to give me 2/3, right? Now put them together. Add the two sums. We're going to smack them together. 5 and 2/3. So she's going to use 5 2/3 cups of oats. It's an easy one. Number 2. Draw and label a number line to show 1 1/4 plus 2 2/4. Okay? So, on my number line, I'm going to start at 0. I need 1. I need 2. Now 3 over here. Now, I would be splitting these all up into fourths, right? So this is going to be 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. 1 whole is 4/4. Now I'm going to have 1 1/4, 1 2/4, 1 3/4. 2. 2 1/4, 2 2/4, 2 3/4, 3. Okay? So I'm going to start at 1 1/4. That's my first number. So I have 1 1/4. That's going to be here. Now I need to jump up 2 wholes. I need to go further here. Sorry guys, I'm distracted because someone's at my house to fix something and I have to go do that in a minute. So I'll have to go further to 4. Okay, so now I need to go up 2 wholes. So 2 wholes is going to have 4/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to jump to here. That's 1. Now I'm going to jump up another hole. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to jump up to here. Okay? Left, I have 2/4. 1, 2. I'm ending here. Right here, I have 3 1/2. Okay? So my answer is going to be 3 1/2. All right. For these, we need to tell if each one is true or false. So we're going to go through each option. 10 2/5 plus 5 1/5. What does this equal? So let's first add the whole numbers. 10 plus 5 is 15. Yep, that's what they got. Then we're going to add the fractions. 2/5 plus 1/5 is going to give us 3/5. But that says 3/10, so this is false. What about here? 5 3/8 plus 3 5/8 equals 9, they say. So if I have 5 plus 3, that's going to give me 8. And now I'm going to add my parts here. I have 3/8 plus 5/8. So 3 plus 5 is 8. That's going to be over 8. 8 over 8 is the same thing as 1. So if I have 8 wholes and I'm adding 1 more, that's going to give me 9. So this one is true. Okay, how about here? 8 3/4 plus 1 2/4. So I'm going to add my wholes. 8 plus 1 is 9, right? And then my parts, 3/4 plus 2/4. So 3 plus 2 is 5. over 4. So that says 1/4, so that's wrong. How about this one? 3 2/3 plus 2 1/3 plus 1 equals 7. So let's add our whole numbers. 3 plus 2 plus 1, that's going to give me 6, right? Because 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to add our parts. 2/3 plus 1/3. So 2 plus 1 is 3 over 3. Okay? So now I know 3 over 3 is the same thing as 1. So when I have 6 wholes plus 1 more, that's going to give me 7. So this one is true. Okay? 2 more problems. Okay. Tim uses, I'm on page 450, guys. Tim uses 4 1/2 cups of oranges, 3 1/2 cups of apples, 5 1/2 cups of pears in a fruit salad. How many cups of fruit does Tim use all together? So once again, we're adding, okay? So I'm going to have 4 1/2 plus 3 1/2 plus 5 1/2. So I'm going to add my wholes. I have 4 plus 3 plus 5. So 4 plus 3 is 7. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12. And now I'm going to add 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3 halves. Now my thing is here, I know this is an improper fraction because 3 is greater than 2. So I could simplify this further. I know that 2 over 2 would be 1. So I could pull that out, and then I would still have 1/2 left. So that would give me 13 1/2, which is going to be the same thing as that. Okay? Last one. I want you to try this one on your own, guys. Okay? So you're adding 80 7/10, 60 5/10, and 40 8/10. Okay? Gotta go do something in my house. Make sure you look at the rest of your list for today. Bye.